Yeah.
All right, good. Okay. So I wanted to mention these Zoom meetings themselves. So like I said, we're going to try to do these once a week as some kind of a scheduled meeting where we try to get as many people on as we can. If you can't make the regular meetings, we can meet with you individually, either on Zoom or as some kind of a phone call. So there are other ways that you can do that, but we ask that you meet with us live, either on Zoom or over the phone, once every 2 weeks. And this is actually kind of a substantial portion of your grade. That accounts for four grades. So 4 Zooms over the 8 weeks. Each of those is 25 points, so that's 100 points. And the whole class is only 500 points. So it's a pretty significant chunk of your grade. And really, we don't ask a lot from you, but just show up so that we can kind of keep tabs on everybody. The reason that we do this is that we found if we kind of don't require people to get in touch with us, that a lot of procrastination happens. And it ends up being a lot of scrambling work in the last week or so of class. And it's bad for the students, and it's also bad for the instructors. So that's the reason that we do that, so we can keep up with questions as we go.
Another reason is just so that we have a little bit of face time with each of you.
Yes.
Because we've taught this in the past where we didn't require this, and there were students that we never saw, never talked to, just took the class, and I think it's probably going to be a better experience for everybody if at least we have some personal interaction with each and every one of you. It gives us a chance to answer any of your questions. If you don't have questions, that's fine. So.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, the next thing I would like to do is go through everybody here and get your name, and also get any kind of credentials about you as far as like what kind of student you are. Are you an undergrad, or are you a grad student? Are you associated with the county extension office? And also anything about nicknames. And this might also be a good time if you already know like times to meet that are really bad for you or really good for you. That might be a good thing to throw in here as well. So let's go through this. We'll start the first face I see is mine. So I'm Blake. I'm an entomologist at the University of Kentucky. I'm in the extension system. My main job is working with 4-H agents around the state. And so I help 4-H agents do youth programming that's related to mostly insects and nature and stuff like that. And I've been teaching this course with Dr. Chapman for, I guess, 5 or 6 years now. And then let's get Dr. Chapman to introduce himself next.
Hi, everybody. As I said earlier, I'm Eric. I am the manager of the insect collection, and I'm also a lab manager. I'm the lab manager of Dr. Dupuy's lab. He's the systematist in the department. My background is all over the place. I've done DNA work with an awful lot of different groups doing phylogenetics. But one of the common, or probably the most common thread between all of my work has been taxonomy. I love taxonomy. That's why I work in the insect collection. I love working with specimens, and I love identifying insects. And so that's kind of a passion of mine. I keep a beetle collection. It's probably upwards of probably over 100,000 specimens at this point. And it's my hobby. So I'm kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a disease in that regard. But I really enjoy this, and teaching this class is just really, I just really love helping people learn how to identify insects. It's really cool. So with that, Blake, go ahead and you want to pick everybody as they go down your list?
Yeah, I'll move along down here. And as I always say every year, you'll see me a lot in this class early in the year. I'll be doing a lot of the introductory videos, and I do a lot of the managing of Canvas. But as I always say, Dr. Chapman is both the brains and the bronze of the operations, the brains and the brawn. He will bring most of the information, especially once we get into the insects. So you are with one of the best sort of general taxonomists that you can find anywhere, as far as just identifying anything. And in particular, if you have questions about beetles, and a couple other groups as well. But Dr. Chapman is a world expert in some of these things. So you're really getting a rare opportunity. But let me move next to Eric Comley. That is the name I see next, right up there.
My name is Eric Conley. I'm the Garrett County 4-H Youth Development Agent, and I'm taking this class as, I guess, a precursor to possibly getting into the STO program, and um, that's I enjoy being outside insects. I continue to learn. Blake has been a part of that learning, but I have some graduate work background in working with insects, primarily aquatic stuff. So, but looking forward to the class.
Very good. And the next person I see is Deb, and Deb's actually taken this class before. If you could, and you're taking it this time as, are you considered an undergrad, but you're an official student this time? Is that how it works?
Yeah. I took the Master Naturalist class in 2022, and then I went on to get a Donovan scholarship. Like, if you're over 65, you get to go to the university for free. So I took a couple of entomology classes, and I just really loved it. So, but the first time I took this, it was my first class ever, and I took it audit because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. So now I'm taking it for credit. Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, yeah. So, because I want to take more courses.
Yeah, and you've already taken more courses. And then and Deb is also a good person. She's already gone through this whole system as far as how to take pictures and then move them onto Google Drive and stuff like that. So she would be a good person to ask as far as experience with some of the logistical aspects of this class. The next person I see is Jenna Roseman.
Yeah, I'm Jenna. I am a natural resources and environmental science major with a minor in entomology. So I've taken a few entomology courses so far, and I'm hoping to graduate in December.
Okay, and so you're still an undergrad then?
Yes.
Okay, so you're taking this course as an under. One of the reason I'm mentioning that is that if you're taking this course as an undergrad or a grad student, the requirements change a little bit. So check that out in the syllabus. It's basically a difference in how large your collection is that you turn in at the end. Where are you based out of, Jenna? Are you here in Lexington?
I'm in Lexington.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, very good. Okay, and now the next person I see is Joshua. I have your last name down here somewhere, but go ahead and tell me your last name as well.
It's Borgamanke. I work for the university, and as a result, you get free courses. I'm also part of the Master Naturalist cohort
okay.
this year. I graduated in 09 with a sociology degree and just never stopped taking courses because I'm a supervisor with their physical plant department, and part of the reason I still work here is because of the free courses. So I've done a ton of natural science courses now, and actually looking to get into a graduate program. And I think I'm leaning towards entomology. I really love taxonomy as well. I started with flowers and trees, and it never stopped. I've done mushrooms. I love being outside and looking at things all around me. So that's what's brought me here. Sure.
So I guess you're counted for logistical purposes as an undergrad. That would be a shame though if you switched to grad students and then didn't have this on your record as a graduate student. We may have to sort of look into that a little bit and see if we can get you whatever benefits there would be from that.
Yeah, I would love to bend your ear about it actually. So
yeah. There may be some way to figure that out. We'll just have to see.
Sure.
Okay, then the next, who do I see next here? Where's my list of people? It looks like the next person I see is Lynn, and you're from Louisville, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I just joined late. I didn't see any notice about a meeting, and so I'm sorry I joined late. And I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Oh, okay. Where you're located, and also, are you taking the course as a grad student, an undergrad, or are you auditing?
Okay, I'm a grad student.
Oh yeah, you're actually an entomology grad student, is that right?
Yes.
Yes,
mhm.
that's right. Okay. And you're located in Jefferson County. Do you have any nicknames we need to know or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. And it looks like the next name I see up there is Tiara Mercado.
Hey everyone. Can't get my camera to work. Sorry about that. But I am a graduate student in the Environmental and Sustainability program. And I am also a horticulture program assistant at the Bullitt County Extension Office. So I'm looking forward to taking this class and think it'll be very helpful in both of those regards. Enjoy being outside. We've already been snapping a ton of pictures of bugs, so
Good. That's very good.
looking forward to it.
Nice. Before we move along, one question that I have, I noticed on looking at a lot of the student profiles for people who are taking this class, many of you are enrolled in something called civil rights training. Is that just something that all the extension staff had to do? Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering what that was. I was just surprised that we had that many civil rights students in the class, but I think it must be some mandatory thing that you guys are taking as extension agents. Okay. That's good. And looks like the next person I see, and also please help me with name pronunciations. Michelle Samra.
Busamra.
Busamra. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And you can call me Shelly.
Okay.
I'm a nurse, wanted to go back to school. So I still work part-time, but going to school now. I'm a grad student in the entomology program, and I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ah, okay. Interesting. So you are doing all of your entomology coursework, or at least attempting to do it all online, I suppose.
Yes.
And Lynn, are you also doing most of yours online, or are you doing some in person?
I'm doing it all online.
Nice. Okay, that's good. We like to hear that people are able to make that work online. Okay, it looks like the next person I see is Laura Lee. And I've seen your name and talked to you before, but I don't think I know how to pronounce your last name.
Just put a message up that her mic isn't working.
Oh, okay.
Just shoot us an email when you get a chance with the information.
Yeah, if you can hear us, Laura Lee. And Eric, do you know Laura Lee?
It would help if I could see the face.
I'm sorry, I was talking to the other Eric. Eric Comley, do you know Laura Lee?
I don't.
I
don't think so. Maybe. I mean,
I think she's an extension, but I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Okay, but we'll move
It's
to
Laura Lee Coonsey.
Coonsey. Okay. And do you happen to know which county she is in?
Yes, she's the Bullitt County horticulture agent.
Aha.
So she wrote in the messages here that her mic isn't working.
Aha. Okay.
But she's participating because she really likes bugs. And she's already been uploading files and taking a bunch of new photos.
Okay. And I'll just ask her some other time. I'm pretty sure she's taking it as a grad student, but I'm not positive. Okay. And our next person, it looks like Kristen Fristo.
Hi, I am the A&R agent in McGoffin County, and I'm taking this course as a grad student in the Science Translation and Outreach program.
Okay.
And hopefully this class will help me to do my job a little bit better because somebody dropped off a bug today. I don't know what it is.
And you said A&R, right?
Yes. I am also /4-H. We have a KSU 4-H agent as well. So
okay,
she's kind of taken over most of that part.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. I think our next name that I see is Emily Davis.
Hello. I am an extension A&R program assistant in Pike County. I am taking this class as a graduate student seeking the STO program masters. And I'm really excited for this class because I love nature photography anyway. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And which county did you say again?
Pike County.
Pike, okay. Very good. And let's see, Regina Utz.
It's Regina Oots, but
Oots.
I'm an ag agent, A&R agent in Trimble County, and I'm taking
Okay.
this as a grad student.
And I've met you before too, but so you're are you an STO grad?
Yes.
STO grad, Trimble, and did you say A&R?
Yes.
A&R. Very good. Who else do I have here? So that was Oots and Kunzi. Daniela Jackson.
Hi, my name is Daniela. I'm a senior undergrad studying ag and medical biotech with a minor in entomology, and I'm based in Lexington.
Very good. So you're still an and so you're ag biotech with an a minor in entomology. That's a good matchup. And Taylor Graves.
Hi, I'm the A&R agent in Washington County, and I'm also a graduate student in the STO program.
Yeah, so I know a lot of you guys are grad students in the STO program. I'm glad that that's hope that that's working well for you. This is the reason the course was created, by the way, was to serve the STO program as an elective. So we've had many people take this class as an STO, as part of their STO program before, and hopefully it has worked out fairly well for them. We try to cater to people who are not able to take classes synchronously. So that's why this course was created. Now I have Melissa Richardson.
Hi, my name is Melissa Richardson. I am the 4-H Youth Development Agent in Washington County, and I am taking the course because this is a state fair project that has been available the last couple of years, and I think that it does a good job of bridging the gap for the kids that are really interested in natural resources, but maybe aren't ready to take on an actual insect collection. So I think it'd be good for me to learn.
Yeah, so for those of you in Extension who don't know, we have a state fair version of this class, basically, where you do insect photography and turn insect photographs into the state or county fair instead of a pinned insect collection. I'm all the stuff you learn in here would be applicable to that state fair project. I think I spoke to everyone. Is there anyone that I didn't talk to?
I think you got everybody too, Blake.
All right, very good. So a couple more logistical things I wanted to mention here. One of the things I wanted to mention, several of you guys have already been turning in and building your Google folders, and most of you guys are doing a good job on that. And I haven't graded anything yet. I was waiting for class to start. But one of the things to watch out for, and most of you have done this correctly, but make sure the first thing that you'll create is probably a folder for phylum Arthropoda. And then inside that, you will have 5 class folders for each of the classes of arthropods. And remember that the next level down is going to be order. The order folders go inside the class folders. So make sure to do that. And then when you get down to family level, we are asking you not to create folders, because in most cases, you're just going to be turning in basically one file for each family. So there's no point to have a folder for that. So when you get down to that order level, your families are going to be turned in as individual image files. So there's no need for family folders. If you do create those, I'll just point them out to you and we'll work it out on email and Canvas if that doesn't make any sense. But we want you to turn in the families as individual image files rather than their own folders. So we don't need family folders in the Google Drive system. One kind of thing I wanted to actually show you is a little bit about editing images. There's a whole lot on our on the actual lessons, the modules on Canvas about editing images. But I wanted to go over a specific thing here that we always run into, and that is making sure whenever you edit an image, it needs to be, and you need to change the size of it for some reason. It's very important to change the size without stretching it or distorting it. And I'll try to show you what I mean by that. I'm going to try to open this with Paint. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is a picture that I have moved from my
Blake,
yes.
you'll need to share your screen.
Yeah, and that's what I was just looking for here.
Oh, okay.
You were right. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you see that. So we talk a lot about image editing in on the Canvas modules. But just before you get started going down the wrong road with some of this stuff, I want to show you a specific example. And by the way, this would also be a good time if you are thinking of questions that you have to ask. For one thing, so let's pretend I just took a picture of a bug outside and it's on my camera or it's on my phone. So I need to get that picture from my phone to my computer. So what I have done here is I've hooked my phone to my computer and I found the image inside the phone folder. I go through this on Canvas, but now I found the specific image that I want. And I'm just going to go drag it over here to the desktop so I'll know where it is. And then I'm going to open it in Paint. Paint is the image editing program that I use the most because it's the fastest. And so this image is huge. These phones take huge images with many pixels, which is okay. If you turn in really big images, that's good. We don't want images that are too small, but images that are too big are good. So this is a very high resolution image. But let's say I don't want some of this extra information in here. I want this, let's say I want this picture to be a little bit smaller. And my instinct might be to grab it like this. Oh, actually, that is working. That's doing it. That's doing what I want it to do and not what I don't want it to do. Here we go. So let's say I wanted to make this smaller. I might do this. And so that works to make it smaller, but it's also distorted the image. It has squeezed it. So instead, I want to make it smaller in a different way by cropping it. And so in Paint, you can usually crop just by dragging the ends. And so this makes the picture smaller without distorting or stretching your insect in there, which is the thing that you really want. So just be careful with that. As you are playing with whatever image editing program that you're using, make sure when you resize things that they are not getting squashed or distorted. That can also happen if you are editing in PowerPoint. It's very easy to stretch and distort things. If you are finding that you're having trouble and you can't figure out how to change the size of your image without distorting it, please contact me. It's actually one of the most important things in the class is to keep your insect at its proper dimensions and proportions, because once it's stretched and pulled, it loses kind of a lot of its information. So please keep that in mind as you're editing images. Are there any questions about that?
One comment I can make is that, you know, when you were playing with paint there, Blake, you had to unclick the lock aspect ratio button
Yes.
in order to resize it in a bad way.
Yes.
And that lock aspect ratio, I've seen that in Photoshop.
Yes.
I think most of these programs use the same terminology for that.
They usually do.
It's just basically, if you change the horizontal and that button is clicked, it will also change the vertical proportionally for you.
Yes, you want to keep the aspect ratio locked if you see that option. What else did I want to mention here? But with all that said, and I think I've said this several times on email, if you're not quite sure about the editing yet, if you're not quite sure about how to identify any of this stuff yet, worry about that later. Start taking pictures now, because this is some of the best time of the year in Kentucky to find insect diversity. Once we get into late May and early June, that's really kind of peak time around here, but there's already so much stuff moving around out there as things get warmed up. It's still humid and moist in Kentucky, so there's a lot of diversity. So go take pictures now. One of the things that we say in Canvas over and over again is to take lots and lots of pictures, even if it's of the same bug. If you see a butterfly or a ladybug, whatever it is that you want to take a picture of, sometimes you might want to take 10, 15, 20 pictures of it at different angles, from different distances, different lighting. And then maybe when you go back to edit it on your computer, you might find that only 1 or 2 of those are good. So take lots and lots of images. And the only other thing I wanted to do now, if we don't have any questions, is I wanted to start talking about a meetup. So does anybody have any questions? Okay, so I would like to go ahead and schedule a meetup for us, and any kind of meeting up that we do is totally not mandatory. It's an optional thing, and I know some of you guys are in different states, so you can't meet with us. This is just a fun way for us to get together and take pictures together. But Deb in particular has offered us Flora Cliff, which is a nature sanctuary in Lexington that you can't just wander into anytime you want to. You have to work with their naturalists there to get into the place. And so I've only been there once or twice. It has a really great insect diversity, a lot of little microhabitats. And so I would like to go ahead and try to schedule that. And maybe instead of asking everybody right now to do some kind of a poll or something, what I would like you to do is I will send an email through Canvas, and I will say I'll probably suggest some dates that I can do it, and then you tell me which of those are the best for you. And I would really like to do this within the next 2 weeks or so. We'll also be a little bit dependent on Flora Cliff's schedule as to when that they can interact with us. Okay, so like I said, watch for that email and try to look for it today. I'm going to send it out today, and we'll need to hammer down a date very shortly. And then the other thing, I guess I'll just also send this out, maybe even at the same time, is a weekly Zoom meeting. Probably the best thing to do is tell me dates and times each week that you can't do it. Like, if we do it at 1:30 on Monday, is that a good time for you? What are bad times for you each week? And if there's no good time for you, we will meet with you individually. It will be your responsibility, if you can't come to the weekly Zoom, to remind us. You're going to have to kind of keep on top of whether you have met with us each 2 weeks. I'm going to check it off on Canvas when you do it. I'll check it off and give you your 25 points. But it's sort of up to you to remember, okay, have I met with these guys these last 2 weeks? I need to email them and schedule a time, and then we will follow up with that. If for some reason we can't find a time that works for you, you know, we'll take that into consideration and maybe double you up 1 week or something like that. But please try to get with us as soon as possible, every 2 week block, so that we can make sure to meet with you. So
I
are
have a
there any,
question.
oh, here we go, good.
Are you going to have a weekly Zoom meeting, whether we're required to attend to every one of them or not?
Yes, we're going to go ahead and do
Okay.
it every week.
Okay.
And then it'll be kind of up to you which one each 2 weeks you want to come to, or you could come to every one of them.
You're not going to be repeating the same thing from 1 week to the second week, right?
No, we won't. Every week will be different. Some weeks we will actually have some kind of a topic, some kind of a bonus topic or something extra. And some weeks we're just going to sit there and wait to see if anybody shows up and asks questions. So some weeks the Zoom, and nothing that we talk about in the Zoom will be like required extra material. These aren't really lectures. All the lectures are all on Canvas. The purposes of the Zoom is to make sure that you guys are getting your questions answered and to make sure people are staying on track, at least as best they can in an asynchronous course. Any other questions? Does anybody have questions? Does anybody have had trouble with figuring out how to open the modules on Canvas? I know some of you guys haven't even gotten to that yet. But please let us know if you have questions about that. We've already had questions about one of the hardest things about this class is taking a picture and then getting that picture from whatever you took it on, either your phone or your camera, to a computer to edit it. So if you are not familiar with that, that will be a skill that you learn in this class, hopefully. And if you're not familiar how to do that, and you're still sort of struggling with, I have this picture on my phone, but I don't know where the picture is, and I need to get it someplace where I can edit it, and then I need to get it to Google Drive after that. Those are critical steps for every image that you do in this class. So if you're not comfortable with that procedure, we can meet with you individually and work with you to help you figure that out. So any other questions? We don't want to necessarily keep you guys for any time that you need to be doing something else. So please ask questions.
Well, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're supposed to take the picture of the creature in its environment, correct?
Yeah, most of the time, yes.
Okay. Well, the issue I'm finding is there's not a good contrast between the creature and its environment, because I think they're meant to blend in. And so I don't know if we're supposed to move them, if we can, or what are we supposed to do there?
It's fine.
Sometimes if moving them around will help you, then do that. I like it the best when they're in a spot that the bug has chosen, because a part of this class is learning about the insects and where they are naturally. But for purposes of taking a picture, if you need to move it around, you can do that. Another really a good thing to do, I think I mentioned this in some of the Canvas assignments, is to buy some kind of little LED light that you can carry around with you. And if you're in a place that's a little bit dark where you can't see the bug very well, shine that LED light, or there are some that you can clip onto your phones to bring a little bit of extra light in, and that will help with some of the contrast. But yeah, if you're having trouble and if it's a bug you want a picture of, sometimes by hook or by crook, try to figure out a way to get a picture of it.
One other thing that I would note here, and that is, some insects are very fast moving and don't want to cooperate very well.
Right.
So, in that case, it's okay if you capture it, bring it home, put it in your refrigerator for an hour to really cool it down. And then you can bring it out and put it on your countertop, for example, and take a couple of quick photos before it warms up. So that's perfectly fine. We realize that, some things don't want to make very good subjects. They want to get away from you as fast as they can. So, if that's the only way to get a photo, that's what, you'll get full credit for that. So, we'll understand.
Oh, yeah. Any other questions like that? These are all good questions. You'll see this as you go through the modules, but most of the images if you're an undergrad, we require about 60 images representing about 60 families. If you're a graduate student, it's 80 images representing about 80 families. We ask that most of those be what we were just talking about, which is bugs that you just sort of find out in nature and you just take a quick picture of it. But we ask for 5 of your images to be a little bit more detailed, where you actually set the bug down, turn it over, take pictures of it from different angles, and create a little montage on a PowerPoint slide or something like that. And use PowerPoint arrows or graphical arrows to point out specific parts on that creature that are characteristic or diagnostic of that family. Those are what we're calling the staged images. You only have to do 5 of those because they are a little bit extra work. But that's something to think about as you're going along as well. As you're taking pictures of creatures, for those staged images, it's really better to use, a lot of times it's best to use something large, so that you can, with our kind of limited photography, in my case, ability, getting pictures of things very up close, like antennal segments and leg segments can be a bit difficult. But if you're working with a large beetle or a large cicada or a horsefly, it can be a little bit easier to see some of those parts for that, that's what we call the staged images. So if you have questions as you go along, you might say, hey, would this be a good creature to do the staged image with? So we can give recommendations for that kind of thing.
And we expect that with those, you'll probably bring those to your house and
yeah,
put them in a more controlled lighting situation. Yeah, you know, and again, if it's something that's fast moving, cool it down in the fridge for half an hour to an hour before you take pictures.
Yep. Yeah, the staged ones, it's actually okay to, for our purposes, to kill those too. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if that helps you, or if you have something that's already dead. But for the most part in this class, we like you to use live images because their live stances help to separate this class from a taxonomy class a little bit. But for your staged images, it can be something that's dead. It can be something that's already on a pin that somebody else has. But just definitely that would be a case where we don't care where you get the creature, just get one and get close to it. So are there any other questions? We've already been on here for 45 minutes, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer than is necessary. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and send out an email in just a few minutes talking about a date for Floracliff and a weekly Zoom session. So we'll get your feedback on that. And sometime during this week, I will decide on the weekly Zoom session. It might just end up being 1:30 Mondays. And I also hope to nail down our first optional get together at Floracliff. So if there aren't any other questions, or I will let you go. Do you have anything else, Dr. Chapman?
Yeah, I got one thing. In past years when we've taught this class, we've always had somebody that was not turning anything in.
Oh yeah.
And that becomes a problem because the registrar wants to know and will send us an email after, probably in the middle of next week, saying we have to log in and say whether everybody in the class is participating. And the way we determine that is if you've done at least one assignment. I believe the due date for having at least done one assignment on Canvas would be a week from Friday. I think it's at the 24th.
Yes, I think that's correct. So what we are asking from you, and like we said, for the most part, this is an asynchronous course, but we kind of need to keep people moving on at least a little bit. And from the registrar's point of view, if a person is not participating at all, they're supposed to be kicked out of the class.
They will.
Glad you said that, because I was just gonna coast along. So that's good. I will do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And some of you have already been turning things in. And what we mean by turning something in is in Canvas, you will find quizzes and assignments. What we are asking is by May 24th at midnight to turn in at least one quiz or one assignment. And hopefully you will have several done by then. But we have had cases in the past where people have turned nothing in until about week 7, which is a big problem. If you're not quite clear on what counts as a quiz or assignment, please let me know. But if it says assignment on Canvas, other than these required Zoom sessions, we don't count that as turning something in, but turn in a Canvas assignment or a Canvas quiz. And like I said, some of you have already done that.
One other thing I'd like to mention right up front here, since we've got probably most of the people in the class listening right now, at the midpoint in the course, and Blake, do you know when the due date for the preliminary collection is?
Yeah, I need to look that up.
Yeah, the preliminary collection is designed, we give you a few points for it, but it's designed to make sure that you've gotten some progress toward your biggest assignment, which is the collection. And so if it's late, we don't want to give points for that. But basically, we're trying to encourage people to make sure that you've got something done. Now, we've got some guidelines as to what we'd like to see, but if you don't reach that, I don't remember how many families it is, but if you don't reach that for the preliminary collection, if you're 2 or 3 or 4 families short, we'll probably just look the other way and give you full points anyways. Mm-hmm. It's just to make sure that you're doing you're making progress towards this large assignment, which is 60 families if you're an undergrad and 80 families if you're a grad student. So we want to make sure that you realize that has a hard due date.
Yes.
And if you don't have anything in your Google Drive on that day, we're going to give you a 0 for that. If it looks like you've done reasonable effort to try to get to the sort of benchmark where we set is it 20 or 30 families, Blake?
It's 25.
25. Okay, that's what I thought it was right in there. Yeah, if you don't get to 25, you got 21 families or something like that. We'll see that. It's okay. We just don't want 0.
Yes.
We want to see that you're making progress. And this is all because we don't want at the last minute for you to be scrambling to just get, your collection done. And, about every time we've taught this, there's been one. So,
yes,
it's not like it's a big pain for us. It's more of a big pain for the student. But anything we can do to kind of encourage you and help you to move that along a little bit is, I think, a good thing. So that's the reason for that. But we don't want to, we don't want you to turn your collection in at the end of the semester and say, well, this is my preliminary collection too. Well, no. The purpose of the preliminary collection is to get it done by that due date.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the reason for this preliminary collection, it's not just logistical so that we are seeing how you're doing. It's also we're trying to get you to take these pictures early. Once you get into start getting into like July, there's still a lot of bugs, but it gets a little harder. Things get a little drier and hotter. You really need to do this stuff now. And then do your sorting and identification later as you go through the lectures and learn that material. So please don't put off the taking the pictures part of it. But yeah, for the preliminary collection, it's due June 7th. We're asking for 25 images. We are asking for you to have them sorted into your Google folders where they're supposed to go. And we're asking you to label them as we've asked you to. And all this stuff is in the syllabus and on the Canvas modules. But we will not dock you, as Dr. Chapman says, if you end up messing up or have some duplicates or don't identify them correctly. The main thing that we want to see is that, are you making progress taking pictures, and do you understand how to edit these images and turn them into us on Google Drive? That is a big part of this.
And it also kind of will tell you, how much work you're going to have to face in total.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you do the preliminary collection and turn it in at the time, you'll realize how much work 25 families is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not hard to find 25 bugs. But taking the pictures is sometimes hard because, as we said, they fly away, or you might find the same bug twice, and so that's not going to help you in your collection. And then the editing part takes some time. All of that stuff adds into a course that, you know, we hope that this course is fun, but it is kind of a lot of physical time spent on the computer sorting this stuff. All right, is there anything else? Gone almost an hour now. That's good. We had lots of good questions. And I will record this, and I will probably put the recording actually up on YouTube. That's the easiest way to do it, and send a link out. So I think there were actually, it seemed like almost everybody was here, but I think there were a couple who weren't. Are there any other questions before we turn you loose? All right, well, I'll start sending some emails out, and hopefully we'll get some feedback. And I'll start grading your stuff on Canvas. And hopefully we will see you all again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Have a good
Good
week.
luck.